Hey, it's Drybear. And today we're going to talk all about speccing and respeccing your characters in Baldur's Gate 3. Not only can you choose to change your character's class at any point in the story, you can also do the same for all of your companions. And I'm still shocked by the number of people that come through chat or just don't realize that these features are available for you and can greatly improve your enjoyment with your playthrough. But first, you should come hang out with me on my live stream. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/Drybear. If you don't come hang out with me in the Twitch community, then you're going to feel a phantom ringing or buzzing or vibrating from your phone in your pocket or near you, but it's not actually going off. You just think it did. All right, so I'm on my third playthrough here, Act 1, no spoilers, just very early on, and we're here in camp to talk about respecking and changing your character's class or the character class of any character that you bring that helps build your party and also specialize your experience. When you're making your character, you won't be able to change your race or some of the very core features of that character like subrace, that sort of thing. But you can freely change your class, the subclass, and you can also change the multi-classing options, and the same thing goes for your companions. So if you're doing a normal good playthrough and you find that you don't like the class that you're playing, you can very easily just go over to Withers here in your camp and click, can you help me change my class? You will pay the gold amount and then it'll start over at level 0 and you will choose your class at level 1. And you can very easily change to any other class in the game freely and then go through, change the ability stats, change the starting stats, go through all of that, and you can make whatever it is that you want. When you do decide to do this, again, you're just going to be choosing the first level and you'll click confirm and your character class will be changed. Just make sure that on the left side, you go through all of the bases. Say you want to make a fighter, for example, and you want to put that together. Choose all of these, go through all of this just like you would be making a brand new character. Set up all your stats so the way that you want them to be, and then click confirm. This will, for 100 gold, change your character's class to that new class, and you'll start at level 1. You don't lose any experience for this. You will just be back to level 1, and then you'll have the option to level up because you'll have enough experience to get you back to the level that you were at, but you're now the new class that you chose. So you can click level up, go through all of the level up processes again, back up to where you were, and you can become whatever it is that you want to become. You can even do this to change your stats. Say that you went a little bit too much in one direction, or maybe you don't like the fact that you get a -1 because you have 8 strength. You can just change this by respecking it Withers and bringing that gold back. You can also choose to multi-class as well by clicking this button here at the top right. So when you level up, you don't do this level 1, but when you level up to level 2 and beyond, you can choose to add another class into your mix by multi-classing. So instead of accepting the level up for the current class you have selected, you can go up here to this button on the left side of the screen, click add class, and then you can see that you already have 1 level in this class. You can choose another class to add into that mixture to give you a whole other subclass that works for that character. Which, by the way, this has no restrictions on it, separate from what you'd expect in something like D&D. There's no minimum stats required. You can actually even have level 1 of every class in the entire game if you want. You can put as many subclasses as you want. There's no limitations, perfect freedom. And if you're respecking when you have multiple levels already into your character, you can just hit accept. It'll just automatically go to the next level, and then you can specialize that level, hit accept, and you can level this up. So at any level in the game, if you're level 11, 12, 4, 6, it doesn't matter. You can just go to Withers, pay the 100 gold, and get that done. Keep in mind that this is 100 gold for about 70% of the game. Towards the very end of the game, this will become 200 gold, but this amount doesn't change because you're using it. It just changes because you're later into the game. So for the first 70% of the game, like Act 1, Act 2, it's going to be 100 gold fixed. Every time you want to do it, you can do 100 gold to spend. Now, I did confirm this yesterday with my third playthrough that even if you don't go and save Withers from the ruins in Act 1, he will still just show up in your camp randomly and you can just go talk to him. So there's no way for you to not have Withers in your camp. You can get him right away by just going straight out from the Crashed Nautiloid to the ruins and go to the bottom of the ruins and open up the secret room, and Withers will come out and give you a special dialogue, which is super cool. But even if you don't do that, if you skip the ruins entirely, which I tested with my third playthrough, he just shows up in camp anyways. You will always have him here. It just, you can get him either right away by going straight to the ruins, or you can, by the, maybe a couple quests into Act 1, they'll just show up at your camp and you'll be ready to go. But I've had people ask me, you know, how do I change the class and the subclass, and how do I respec my companions? And the answer is, it's exactly the same way. So when you are in your camp, you can select any one of your characters in the left side of your screen that are in your party, and then you can control them. So take Karlach, for example. She's base barbarian, and you can choose what subclass she gets into. But say you want her to be a bard, or you want her to be a wizard, you can easily do that. You can just go to Withers, controlling Karlach, come up here, talk to him, and then you can hit the same exact thing, change my subclass, pay the 100 gold, and respec all of that. This is extra important for classes and characters and companions that start with their subclass. So for example, Shadowheart, she is a base cleric, and clerics get their subclass at level 1, which means that when you encounter Shadowheart, she will have already selected her subclass, which is the Trickery Domain Cleric. If you ever want to change that for Shadowheart, you can see that I am currently a Life Domain Cleric because I have Respect her, and I've put her into Bard as well to make her more support. You can do that just by going to Withers and respecking. Now, I see this get asked a lot. What happens to the story if I respec my characters, right? If Karlach is a barbarian, she fights in the Hells in the Blood War. If I respec her into a Bard, what does that do? And the answer is absolutely nothing. For the roleplay and the story progression, your characters and companions will be treated as the base class that they have, regardless of what you've respec them into for the case of the story, right? So like Will is a warlock. He has ties to devils. If you respec him into a cleric or something, or into a fighter, he's still going to have the same connection to devils. His story doesn't change and the cutscenes won't change. You will just be able to play them however you want. Now, if you don't want to use any of these built-in companions that you find through your story, or if you're exceptionally evil, I did an evil playthrough on my second playthrough, and it turned out that when you're way too evil, companions are kind of hard to come by. You end up either killing your companions or scaring them off by doing horrible things. And so there is a backup system for that helps you build a party from that. So if you go to Withers, again, you can talk about hiring hirelings. So when you talk to them, you want to recruit a hireling, you'll be given a connection to this screen here, which is going to be a list of named characters that are just kind of NPCs that you can choose from. And just like companions, you can respec these as much as you want. They come in a wide list of different names and races and visual appearances, that sort of thing. You can pick these up as replacements for your characters. So if you end up playing a super evil playthrough where you just kill everyone or scare everyone off, you can still fill a full party of people just by coming and grabbing any one of these hirelings for 100 gold. You add them to their party. They function just like a normal companion, and you can fully respec them as well to give them whatever build that you want, and you can just kind of add them into your party and your group and use them as such. So I encourage you to utilize this feature to its fullest. It makes the game really fun, and if you're something you're not enjoying, you can take advantage of this to make things super cool. And also, if you find builds online that seem fun but don't fit the roleplay of your character, you can very easily just use those builds for the companions you're running. For example, my Infiltrator build is a great fit for someone like Astarion, or you can even run Storm's Bane on someone like Gale if you want to run him as a sorcerer. Some of those core playstyles work great for the roleplay of those characters individually. You can very easily slot them in and try out the build without having to affect your character at all or affect the story. It just is part of the fun of playing the game. And I'll leave you with one major tip around respecking in Baldur's Gate 3, and that is to take advantage of it to benefit the early levels of classes that are very strong. Some classes come online a little bit later than others. If they get their main attack that is really useful later on, or maybe you're waiting for the extra, like the higher level smites on Paladin, or maybe you're looking for the highest level spells on a spellcaster, something like that. And so using the respec feature means that you can start the game with a class that is like the class you want to be eventually, and then take advantage of a class that may be better in the first 3 or 4 levels to get through that part of the game and then come and respec. So for example, my Bone Grinder build, which is an 8 fighter, 4 barbarian, what I like doing is running barbarian all the way to level 5 to get the extra attack. And then you can respec at level 6 or 7 to go back to fighter. So that way you never lose the extra attack, but rather than going fighter to level 4 and then barbarian to level 4 and stopping just before extra attack, or stopping just before you get a feat or activation for that class, you can just play a class all the way up to a certain level And then when you have more experience to play with, you can respec at withers, set to the classes that you want, and then equip the gear and set up the character the way you want with a more of an early game, middle game, late game focus, because this feature is always available. So I hope this helps answer the question around respecking you, your companions, or your hirelings, and customizing the gameplay to what you're looking for. If you found value in the video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and I'll see you on my live stream. If you enjoyed yourself today, leave a like down below. You can support me and my work on Patreon and view Patreon exclusive content, link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.